What's good, you guys? We're going to be going over the SEC way too early rankings for this upcoming season. We have it here at collegebasketball.info. If you guys haven't checked out the article, it's on there. It's collegebasketball.info. Before we get into it, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't. We really, really appreciate it. We're going to give you guys our entire rankings for the SEC. We've done our best to, figure out who's going where, who's leaving, right? And we're also, of course, going to include all the Ken Palm rankings of last season in this video. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. And first, I'd just like to say this SEC upcoming season, it looks so stacked. There's talent throughout this entire conference, from the top to the bottom. Yeah, there's just a ton of talent. First team we have on our list is Alabama. This was the number three Ken Palm offense last year, 61st defensively. And as we know, they got kind of, Aiden Holloway couldn't play in March Madness. That was a huge blow for them, and they still were able to win games by a lot. They beat Texas Tech by like 30, right, in that one game. So, they really showed up, but, of course, they lost to Michigan, who won it all. But, starting right there with Aiden Holloway, this is probably the best guard in the entire conference right here. Aiden Holloway is returning 17 points per game, shooting 44% from deep last season. Yeah, he is a star, and to have him back for Alabama is everything. And to, keep that top three offense, top four offense, I think they definitely can do it again. And it starts with him again, shooting this well from deep, he's just getting better and better from 30% to 41 to 44. And he's also shooting a lot better from the field, scoring more points, shooting better in terms of free throw percentage. His game is getting better and better. So it's just very exciting to see, what will come out of his senior year. And on top of that, they do have Amari Allen returning as well. We know they lost a big in the transfer portal, but Amari Allen was a freshman last year, and he still put up 11 points and 7 rebounds a game. And he does shoot the three, and I do look for him to expand his game here. But yeah, having these two guys return to a team that won games in March without obviously without Aiden Holloway playing is huge. They also went ahead and got Drew Fielder from Boise State. He averaged 14 and a half points a game and also shot over 40% from three. Um, yeah, this is a huge ad. 6'11", a big man who can, really shoot the ball. Yeah, this is an excellent ad for Alabama's offense. And if we look at Boise State last year, they were top 75 offensively and almost top 75 defensively. So that does, I'm sure it's going to translate very well for Alabama. And a lot of people, I think, do have Florida as number one or another team, but we have Alabama. The talent here is just undeniable. Again, starting with Aiden Holloway, and now you add a player like Drew Fielder, Amari Allen returning. This team, should be at the very top, if not, one of the very best teams in the SEC. And yeah, going down to number two here, we have Florida. As we know, Florida was top 10 both ways. They were ninth in terms of KenPom offense and sixth defensively. They have like the thing about Florida is that they have their front court returning in Alex Condon, Thomas Hoff, and they also have Boogie Flan returning to their backcourt. This is absolutely key, right? Obviously Thomas Hoff was a part of their championship team. He's putting up 17 points a game, 6 rebounds last year, and also Alex Condon, of course, with their championship team. Going into their senior years, he was giving 15 points and 7 rebounds, so similar numbers. So the front court is absolutely huge, especially defensively for this team. Um, and also on top of that, again, we mentioned returning Boogie Fland is huge. He didn't shoot the ball well at all in terms of his three-point percentage, but he did get better in terms of field goal percentage as the year progressed. And yeah, look for him to build onto his junior year now. And yeah, definitely Florida is one of the favorites. We have them at number two here just because I think Alabama's offense is just so much, it's just a clear favorite in my opinion. But Florida is definitely right there with their returning talent and their championship pieces. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for Florida. Next team we have is Texas. Again, another team that, can win the SEC. This team is reloaded. The thing about Texas, it was not a problem with their offense last year. They had an excellent offense. It was their defense. A lot of times they were outside of the top 100 defensively, and they're terrible defensively. and their offense was the complete opposite. You know, they were so good offensively. They went ahead and got transfer guard Isaiah Johnson from Colorado. He was a freshman last year and he put up 70 points a game for them and shot 48% from the field and almost 38% from three. As a freshman, right, these are really, really excellent numbers. So Texas is getting just a high level guard here. And on top of that, they added David Punch, who was part of a TCU team that won a tournament game. 14.7 rebounds a game for him going into his sophomore year, 50% from the field. Doesn't shoot the ball well, but the thing about TCU last year was they were actually a really good defensive team. So 22nd, top 25 defense, and 82nd offensively. But this is something that Texas absolutely needs. So, you know, David Punch is a huge add for this team on the defensive end, especially. And, you know, going into March, you know, he has that experience as well. They also went ahead and added Amari Evans from Tennessee. We know how great Tennessee defenses are. And returning is Matthias Vokatitis. He was so good for them at that center position. So looking to build onto his next season. He was putting up 15 points a game, 7 rebounds, and shooting 61% from the field. So this Texas team is absolutely going to be stacked again next year. But you know, I think even better building on last year, and especially defensively, that is something that Texas definitely needs to be better on that end of the floor. But that rounds it out for the top three. Already we see the SEC is stacked, you know, just looking at the top three teams. And we haven't even talked about Kentucky yet, who's our number four team. They went ahead and added arguably the best college basketball player, in my opinion. You know, if not one of the best college basketball players in the country, in Milan Momcilovic. So he didn't go into the NBA draft and he chose to transfer to Kentucky. 17 points a game, but he shot 48% from three, almost 50% from deep. This is nuts. I've never seen numbers like this by any player that we've been covering. And also he's almost making four threes a game, shooting 50% from the field. This guy is Man, this guy, I'm sure he's going to be an excellent NBA talent as well. But, you know, going into Kentucky this year, you know, also excellent free throw shooter at 87%. This is the biggest addition, arguably, in college basketball. And Kentucky is probably going to be much better this year than they were last year. Last year, they were 40th in terms of KenPom offense and 28th defensively. They did get away in that Santa Clara win, OT win, with the Otega Owe game winner, but this team should definitely be a lot more ready this upcoming March. They also went ahead and added Zoom Diallo from Washington, averaging 15 points a game from Washington, 4.5 assists. He shot the ball pretty well from the field, 48%, but his three-point percentage wasn't that great at 31%. Doesn't shoot a lot of threes, so you know they're gonna need more out of that very likely. But you know, definitely a lot of talent added at that guard position from Zoom Diallo. And also Alex Wilkins, a transfer from Furman, 70 points a game, almost 5 assists per game. So Kentucky is absolutely reloaded. Yeah, these top four teams are, you know, excellent. These are definitely the favorites in our opinion for the SEC title, regular season conference tournament. Next team we have is Auburn. It starts with their 11th ranked offense. They were 109th defensively, so that was their issue. They did go ahead and win the NIT though, which is very encouraging, no doubt about it. But their biggest returning player, of course, is Tahad Pettiford. Um, 15 points a game for that number 11 offense is kind of all you need to know. Um, he didn't shoot the ball very well from deep, under 30%, or from the field under 40%. But again, when you have the Ken Palm 11th offense in the country, like, and you know, he's returning, that's absolutely key for them. And they also went ahead and added a bunch of pieces from mid majors and also teams like Santa Clara, Bucky Oboye, not how to pronounce his name, but 8 points a game, right? 4 rebounds. Adam Olson, the transfer from South Alabama, almost 17 points a game, shooting almost 40% from three. So they added another shooter in Adam Olson here. And yeah, Thomas Dowd, a transfer from Troy, 14 and a half points a game, 10 rebounds. So they definitely, Auburn has also reloaded. And they also should be contending in this upper tier range in the SEC. Next team we have is Tennessee. They were the 31st KenPom offense last year and 14th defensively. This was actually like the first year Tennessee like wasn't a top, I think like five defense, which is crazy to say. So like let's just kind of look at Tennessee like in 2024. Yeah, so they were the third ranked defense in 2024 and 2025. Tennessee was the third ranked defense in 2025 as well. So this was an abnormal year for Tennessee this past season when they were the 14th KenPom ranked defense. Even though they're still excellent, that's a lot worse than Tennessee's used to. So, look for them to get back into that top 10, even top 5 ranked defensively. But, it starts with their transfer. Juke Harris is coming in from Wake Forest, averaging 21 points a game for Wake Forest, an elite scorer, one of the most sought after transfers in the portal, going into his junior year now. Yeah, this guy is an absolute bucket for Tennessee to get. And also they added Terrence Hill Jr. from VCU, 15 points a game, a strong shooter. Tyler Lundbale from Belmont, 15 and a half points a game, 43% from deep. The Missouri Valley Player of the Year, Tennessee is getting in him. And also Jalen Harrelson, transfer from Notre Dame, 16 points per game. This should be another top tier team. Like I said at the beginning of this video, the SEC looks very, very stacked. There's so much talent in this conference, and that's the top six teams we have so far. Coming in at seven is Texas A&M, coming in with the 49th KenPom ranked offense, 39th defensively. They added PJ Haggerty, an elite scorer. Anyone who watches college basketball even casually knows who he is. Coming in from Kansas State, averaging 23 points a game. Yeah, he's their main addition here. And the thing is, Texas A&M has been kind of the same in terms of their KenPom rankings over the past few seasons. So, they're really going to rely on PJ Haggerty to try and, uplift this offense. But aside from him, it's hard to, kind of put Texas A&M in this a top tier range as these top six teams. But definitely a lot of talent with him coming in. Coming in at number eight, we have Arkansas. They are getting transfer Jeremiah Wilkinson from Georgia, sophomore guard, 17 and a half points a game. And also Cooper Bowser, a transfer from Furman. He was a junior center, 13.8 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 75% on 2-point shots. So excellent efficiency. Of course, this team's going to have to they're going to need a lot, to get back to that number seven KenPom offense. They're the 60th defensively, but that seven KenPom offense was a big jump from their previous year where they were not good offensively. So, they're going to have a lot from Wilkinson and Bowser here. It's going to be tough, when, Darius Acuff Jr., Malik Thomas are now in the NBA, right? So, definitely a lot of talent for Arkansas, but again, tough to, match that seventh KenPom ranked offense next season. Next, we have Vanderbilt. This team probably had, honestly, the biggest turnover from last year. They had three out of their top four leading scorers, Duke Miles, Tyler Nickel, and Oke Okereke, all went to the NBA. But they do have Tyler Tanner returning. And this is huge for Vanderbilt. And their hopes next season, they were in March and they, made noise, but, they lost to Nebraska in March Madness in a very, very close game. But having Tyler Tanner return at the top, almost a 20 point per game scorer, 5 assists a game, almost 50% from the field. This is a great starting point for Vanderbilt. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's going to be hard to replicate that success that they had last year without Duke Miles, Tyler Nickel, who's an elite shooter. They're gonna have to rely a lot on Tyler Tanner and his game this upcoming year to even come close to that eighth KenPom ranked offense. Defensively, they were outside the top 25, but yeah, we have Vanderbilt coming in at nine. Next up, we have is Georgia. They had a lot of losses, including Jeremiah Wilkinson, which we explained, going to Arkansas. That was their leading scorer. They also lost Somto Cyril, who transferred to Miami. He was an All SEC he was on the All SEC defensive team, and he did average 2 blocks a game, 75% from the field, almost 10 points a game. So just in those two players is a huge loss for Georgia. And the thing about Georgia, they were actually excellent offensively. They ended up with a 16 KenPom ranked offense. And a lot of the year they were actually in the top 10, top 11 range. So, huge, huge success from Georgia last year in terms of their offense. They were 89th defensively, which is worrisome for sure, but that offense was undeniable. But they do return Blue Kane. Blue Kane is was one of their leading scorers. So he's coming back for his senior year. 13 points a game, 30% from three, which is concerning, but he's a 90% free throw shooter. Excellent, excellent free throw shooter. And yeah, also 5 rebounds a game from that guard position is great numbers for sure. So, they're going to have to rely on Blue Cane a lot next year. But again, in a tough, tough SEC, we have them at number 10. Next up, we have is Oklahoma. Oklahoma, again, another elite offense, not great defense. They do have Xavier Brown returning, which was their second leading scorer behind Nigel Pack last year. So Xavier Brown returning at 15 points a game. They also went ahead and added Tyler Hendricks, who shot almost 45% from deep from Utah Valley. So that is a huge addition to for this Oklahoma offense. And also Pop Isaacs, who averaged almost 10 points a game and shot 40% from three from Texas A&M. So they are getting a lot of scoring back. Oklahoma is, but again, it's that defensive end which is always which was worrisome last year for Oklahoma. They just got into the top 100. They were worse throughout the year, but yeah, the main concern for Oklahoma isn't their offense. It really is their defense. Pop Isaacs has played in March. He has experience. Um, yeah, a lot of scoring here, but we'll see with Oklahoma. Coming in at 12, we have Missouri with the 50th Camp Prime ranked offense last year and 82nd defense. Missouri actually had a huge drop off from their previous year, which I think they're like the sixth or seventh Camp Prime ranked offense. Missouri was 2 years ago. To drop from that to 50th was a big surprise. But they went ahead and reloaded with guys like Bryson Tiller, who averaged almost 8 points a game at Kansas. He was a freshman. Kennard Davis Jr., who was a part of an elite BYU offense as well. And then other rotation pieces like Jordan Crawford from South Dakota, Jamir Jones. So, definitely competitive in terms of their talent, getting guys from elite programs, no doubt. But again, in the tough, tough SEC, we have them at 12. Next team we have is LSU. Last year they were outside the top 100 KenPom ranked defense, almost outside the top 125 defense, top 50 offense, but they did go ahead and add Abdi Bashir Jr. 2 seasons ago. Abdi Bashir Jr. was like I think he averaged like 3 or 4 threes per game. He was like the leading 3 point. He had the most 3 points made per game in the country, Abdi Bashir Jr. So he's coming in from Kansas State, so they're gonna have to rely on him to provide a lot of offense. Mohamed Diobate from Kentucky, excuse me, and then other pieces to kind of round out the roster here. But again, in a tough SEC, we have them here at 13, and that defense is still very, very concerning. Yeah. Next team we have is Ole Miss. Ole Miss was the 92nd KenPom ranked offense, 45th defensively. Went ahead and added Adam Clark from Seton Hall, 12 points per game, 5 assists, and 2 steals. All Big East second team here. He's going to have to definitely lead the pack here for Ole Miss. And again, other rotation pieces to round out the roster. But again, almost outside that top 100 offense is very concerning in a stacked SEC. So we have Ole Miss here at 14. 15, we have Mississippi State with the team that was outside the top 100 both ways, KenPom offense and defensively. They have a lot of more low-level transfers and freshmen coming in. And yeah, just seems like a rebuilding year for Mississippi State. We have them here at 15. 16th to round out the SEC at the very, very last spot, we have is South Carolina, also outside the top 100 offense, almost outside the top 100 defense. This team's going to need a lot from their freshmen and, their new pieces through the portal, but this team is, bottom of the pack in a very, very tough SEC. And yeah, that rounds it out for our way too early SEC predictions, rankings. Of course, we have Alabama here at the top, but don't be surprised if you see Florida, Texas, Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee. These top six teams, I think, can definitely compete for the SEC title. Other than that, it's going to be tough for the teams from seven below, but a lot of bids coming out of the SEC in terms of March Madness. But yeah, that rounds it out. We're going to keep going through all the conferences. Again, check out collegebasketball.info if you want to check out these articles. Give this video a subscribe, give this channel a subscribe, and this video a thumbs up. Till next one, y'all. Peace.